Go outside and challenge my son. He's 16, who can dunk and play and hoop like me. Like, that's awesome. And I want to be able to install, that grit, that fire, within them that I had, that hunger, and they have it. And to have kids, athletic like you, that share the same dreams and passion, I mean, it's gonna keep you young. They keep me young, and I thank God for my kids for keeping me, this young. At 36, I know my dad wasn't running around doing what I'm doing, so I know I'm ahead of the curve, and I hope to stay that way.
What did Mike and Roy mean to you growing up?
Everything, man. It's funny, I shared a story. I seen Roy's team out earlier, and when I was with the Knicks, he came and practiced with the Knicks with us, like a full practice. And it was like once before his fight early in his career. And it was pretty cool, like, as 21-year-old, rookie, 21, I was young, and I was like, yo, like, I was freaking out. I was like, bro, Roy Jones is really at our practice, like, hooping with us. I called my brother, called my friends back home, and I was like, one of the highlights of my life, to be able to, rub shoulders and hoop with somebody that, you looked up to, boxing, and one of my favorite boxers. And then Mike Tyson, I mean, me and my dad used to sit back and watch, a lot of his 30-second bouts. He used to knock people out so early, so fast. Like, you go to the kitchen, get popcorn, come back, the fight's over. So just to be, in these guys' presence, man, it's very humbling. It's an honor, and it's magical. You can feel it. You can feel it in the atmosphere in the room. The energy is electric, and I love it.
Is your dad a big boxing guy?
Oh yeah, big time, man. Oh, Muhammad Ali, just everybody. Smoking Joe, Sugar Ray, everybody. He loves everybody, and cool. It's pretty cool that I get to kind of fulfill a dream of my dad's by doing something so special.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That's it? Yep.
Nice.
Check ball, everybody.
What's up, yo? How we doing?
Looking good, baby. Looking good. It's one night before fight night, Jake. Tell us, how are you feeling physically and mentally?
I feel good. I haven't ever felt this good. This is my third time doing this now. I'm getting into a routine. Everything's on point, made weight exactly, feeling great. It's great to be here. I'm a game time player, so the lights, the cameras, this shit excites me. And it's a movie. It's a movie. Mike Tyson? Roy Jones Jr.? Are you kidding me? Staples Center? I mean, we're blessed to be able to do this, and I'm just excited.
Tell me about that excitement. How much does boxing on the undercard of Tyson and Jones do for you? I mean, this is a dream come true for anybody, but as someone who's getting into the boxing game, what does it mean to you?
No, it's like you said, a dream come true. It's an honor. I can't even put it into words. My parents, when they found out about this, they both called me. They're like, "Yo, this is legendary." My dad was getting all emotional. He's like, I grew up watching Mike Tyson, and to think that my son is fighting right before him, he was excited, and it's so cool. And it's an honor, and I'm lucky to be in this position, and that's why I want to put on an amazing fight tomorrow. I want it to be entertaining. I want to show the boxing world, like, this kid can actually box. I've been training in Las Vegas for almost a year now, and it's showtime.
I wanted to ask you about that. You're a very successful guy outside of this. So a lot of people say, why would you get into a fight if you're already a success? So what is it that boxing does for you? Why do you love this sport?
Yeah, it's a great point. I'm doing this because I love it. I don't need to do it. I have my music, I have my YouTube stuff, my acting, my businesses, but I'm doing this because I love it. Everything about it, the show, the weigh-ins, the talking shit. I just saw Nate Robinson in the hallway, like, crossing him up with my air basketball in the hallway, like, that simple shit that no one sees, like, it makes me so happy, and I just love it. Like, this sport is amazing, A to Z, everything about it, and that's why I'm doing it. And I feel like I found a home with this. I feel like I've found my passion and my calling in the weirdest way. It's like a typical. You think it's like a typical boxing movie, like the kid who's getting in trouble and going down the wrong path and has fame and fortune and da-da-da. and he finds boxing, and it puts me on this straight and narrow path where I have to stay focused. I have to be the best version of myself, and so this is amazing. It's a dream come true.
How did he react to your basketball skills?
He just like froze for a second. He seems lost. He seems lost in this moment. He seems sad. I haven't heard a word from him. I saw his coach. His coach is wearing his own, like, representing his own boxing club. I'm like, who are you here for, man? I was like, Paco, I want to fight you next. He's like, next time you should call out a real boxer. And he gets all mad and like was like wanting to fight me in the back hallway. I'm like I'm in his head. I'm in their heads. Like that simple. He just doesn't. This is all new to him. But he asked for this. That's why I don't feel bad at all. He asked for this. Like, he's the one that called me out. He's the one that said I hadn't fought an athlete. And I think it's been a rude wake-up call for him. I think the nerves are setting in because there's no, like, if you've stepped in the ring before, you know that there is no other sport like this, and you can't train for that. You have to experience it.
Do you think people are overplaying his previous athletic experience? Because, like you say, when you get into a boxing ring, you can still, as soon as you get punched, you can have the adrenaline dump. It's a unique experience, right? So do you think his previous experience is sort of being built up too much?
I think so. I think it'll help him for sure. He's definitely athletic, right? But how much does being an athlete help in boxing if it's your first fight? I think that type of stuff helps when you're super, super experienced. And I think for sure his athletic ability has been overplayed, and I think mine's been underplayed. People forget that I've had over 200 wrestling matches, Division I in Ohio. People forget that I was an all-star running back. People don't like mention those things, and I'm only 23, he's 36, so I'm peaking and he's coming out of retirement.
Combined with that, the fact that you have done this already, do you think there's a chance that when the bright lights are on him, he's actually the technique's going to go out the window like we see with so many amateur boxers, and you're going to be the one refined and you can slip those wild shots? Is that how you see it playing out, or how do you imagine it going?
100%. I think he's going to come out green. I think he's going to come out wild. I think he's going to be like caught in the moment. I'm going to have to be cautious of that because I don't want to stoop down to his level. Me and my coaches have talked about that. And, he's going to be coming with the overhand rights, just the typical green amateur boxer like you're saying. So, yeah, we're prepared for that. I just don't expect it to last that long. There's no way you can't train to take shots at 36 years old with a 10-ounce glove.
There's something about, every so often you get a boxer or an MMA fighter who, for some reason, as soon as they're about to fight someone, people are already talking about the one after that. And I'm finding that with you. You're about to box tomorrow, and already people are going, well, who's going to box after this? Have you experienced that? Can you see that? Can you recognize that happening?
Yeah, I think it's happened with almost all my fights. I think that's the beauty of the sport, is continuing the narrative. Who's next? And I have a list of people, and so I'm the one also pushing that narrative. I want to keep fighting. I want to stay active. I want to bring MMA fighters into the boxing ring. I mean, Conor McGregor is the only fighter from MMA really that stepped into the boxing ring. So I want to take these other people who are talking shit already to me on Twitter and bring them into the boxing ring. And I want to beat professional fighters that way. I want to prove to people like, damn, this kid isn't just beating up Nate Robinson and other YouTubers and such. So this is one fight that is creating a start of a long journey.
Why Conor McGregor?
I think it just makes sense, At the end of the day, this is a business, right? And they're saying that this fight is on track. It's breaking all the pay-per-view pre-sale records, and I'm the co-main event. And Conor McGregor is bringing those same pay-per-view numbers. There's no other fighter with as this big of a platform that's calling out Conor McGregor right now. His biggest competitor could be retired. You know what I'm saying? So a couple fights down the line, when my skill level improves exponentially, which it has already since my last fight, I'm gonna beat up Dylan Dennis, which is from his camp. I want to KO everyone in Conor McGregor's camp, and then it's time to fight McGregor. But it's gonna happen.
So the Dylan Dennis thing is in your mind. You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, he has to get his ass beat. I mean, no one likes that guy. I mean, people don't like me, but they hate Dylan Dennis more. So I think everyone wants to see me beat his ass. And it makes perfect sense because my end goal is fighting Conor McGregor for sure, but I might as well beat up, his best friend first.
And one other name, I heard the promoter Eddie Hearn say that he would be interested in booking you against KSI. He thinks you're an incredible fighter. He said he would love to see that. Is that another one?
Yeah, I mean, KSI is on the list. He's ducking me. He's making the fight all about the money. When I'm just here because I want to fight him for the culture. That's the fight that most fans want to see is Jake Paul versus KSI. He beat my brother, so I want to avenge my brother, come back, and take that W against him. But KSI is busy, making YouTube Try Not to Laugh challenge videos while I'm on the Mike Tyson undercard. So he's kind of getting left in the dust, and we'll see if it happens.
Cool. Good luck for tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
You mentioned your wrestling background. A lot of guys who have wrestling backgrounds go into MMA. Why was it boxing for you?
I think, boxing for me is something that just came naturally. And when all these YouTubers were talking shit, I originally wanted to do MMA. But none of the other YouTubers at the start of this wanted to get into the MMA ring with my wrestling background. So they're like, no, let's box, let's wear headgear, let's box. I was like, I don't want headgear. I want to do MMA. But it eventually led down the path of boxing. I was like, damn, and then I fell in love with it. But I think the wrestling footwork, the positioning, the angles, all that same stuff applies in boxing.
Do you still think about MMA sometimes? Because you're kind of taking the opposite route. Guys who have wrestling backgrounds going to MMA, sometimes they struggle with striking, but you're obviously improving your striking on a weekly basis. Do you still think about that in the back of your mind, something you might want to try?
Not really. I think I found an amazing home with boxing, and it's been 3 years now of training. So to start MMA really wouldn't make sense for me.
What do these two guys mean to you as an athlete?
I mean, first of all, this is just a legendary night because people my age, I'm 23, people my age have never experienced a Mike Tyson fight night. So for the first time, we're going to get to feel that energy, feel Mike, see Mike walking into the ring. All we've seen is YouTube highlights and rewinds and then documentaries, but we've never actually experienced it live. And so for me, it's a dream come true. I mean, I read Mike's book before he even knew I existed. And same thing with Roy Jones Jr. We watch a lot of film, and we study a lot of fighters in our training camp. Oscar De La Hoya, Klitschko, and Roy Jones Jr. is one of them. We like to mimic his movement, his head movement, and his hooks. So these are fighters I admire, and it's legendary. It's historic.
What does the thrill of fight night mean to you, the thrill of competition? I assume that's what you're going after here more than really anything, because you got success in a lot of other areas, but you can't get that feeling when you're getting in the ring or when you're competing, when you're in the wrestling mat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like there's no better feeling than beating someone who, especially when the world doubts you. And the world's doubted me time and time again. That's where my success comes from. Is where I started off is everyone in my hometown, the teachers, blah, blah, they didn't believe in me. And so I wanted to prove everyone wrong. So I started to prove them wrong, and I grew and grew, and I kept on proving people wrong. And so the fight game is no different. People think I'm just this YouTube pretty boy rapper kid, but I can actually fight, and I want to prove that to the world and beat Nate Robinson. And there's like you said, no better feeling than defeating another man in front of millions of people. And it's one of the most entertaining. It's one of the biggest or most entertaining forms of entertainment is fighting. If you're walking down the street, you see two people fighting, everyone's going to stop, pull out their phone and watch. If you're walking down the street and you see someone singing, you're like, it's not a guarantee that you're going to watch them. So I like to be entertaining. I like entertainment, and it's perfect for me.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Bye, guys. It's hot up here, bro. Like.